Hey guys, what's up? IdaKiller here, back with another video. This video is part 3 to a little 3-part mini-series on how to create and launch your own server. In the past 2 videos, we covered how to get your server up, but only locally, and then we covered up how to get it online, but only allow trusted friends, family members, anybody you trust to get on the server. In this video, we're going to be covering how to get a domain. That way, you can give out a little IP, such as the one I have for my server, KillerFest, and you can give that one out, and it will actually substitute your IPv4 address that you've been giving out to your friends. That way, you don't get DDoSed. Now, if you recall in my last video, and if you didn't read the description of that video, I talked about how my port forwarding wouldn't work because of my internet provider. And I elaborate in the description that the big issue that I experienced during that was the IP address. It had changed. So be aware that this may happen to you if your box needs to be reset or your router needs to be reset. Your IP address could change. So make sure you're always keeping up to knowing what your IP address is, and then if it does change, you do need to go into your preferences for your router and make sure that that port is still on the correct IP address. And so with this, we can move on into how we're actually going to set up a domain. Now there's 2 ways you can set up a domain. One, you can get a paid one, or you could get a free one. Now I have a website for both, so if you want to pay money, if you want to get a domain to be able to have on your server that is paid, then you can do that. The downsides of not getting a paid one, which are the free options on this website, is that you do have to reset the domain every day, which, if anything, is actually good for you to be able to maintain your server and make sure the IP address is still the same and everything, make sure problems don't happen. So what this website is, well, what you're going to do is you're going to go into Google and you're just going to look up noip.com. It should bring you to this. This is a website to help you create a domain for DNS, which is your server. You'll just need to sign up and create an account, and all that will do is be able to have an account to allow you to see all your domains. So you should be at this page or on your account page. If you're on your account page, it should be on the left, but up here, as you can see, there is manage domains and manage DNS. If you just go to manage DNS, it shouldn't bring you to this, but I do have to log into my account. But it should bring you to this page or something of the similar service if you go to dynamic DNS as well. If you are here, all you need to do is it shouldn't show you there are any host names. It should just show you that there's nothing there. But I do have one already, so we'll just add a host name. In this, you're just going to create a host name. So for me, I'm just going to create IdaKiller, and then I will use the same little into the domain as I do on my normal server, which is the HopTO one. These are the enhanced domains right here, but you do want to scroll down. These are the no IP free domains. If you are in the dynamic DNS section, the free ones will be at the top, but for this one specifically, they are on the bottom. So you find the domain you want, the free one or the paid one, whatever you picked. Don't really change any of this information right here. All you got to do is just keep it as DNSA. If you're on the dynamic DNS, it should just be DNSA right there, and you should be fine. You scroll down, and it will be, everything should be here. Don't mess with the MX record or anything. Just keep everything the way you have it. Make sure your IPv4 address is in here, not your IP address, but your public IPv4 address, the one that you've been giving to your friends. And then all you got to do is click add host name. Now this problem might occur if you try to add multiple host names. It doesn't show it here, but if I go into dynamic DNS and I go to right there, if I go to the, I believe I got to go to the no IP host names, it shows my host names, but it shows for the one we just added that there's an issue. And if you hover over the issue, it tells you that there's no dynamic updates. So it's telling you that the website isn't detecting this as a host name that you should use. So if you try to go in and put, let's try to put idakiller.hopto.org, and if you try to put that in and you try to connect to that server, we'll just move it up a bit, it shouldn't work. As you can see, it does work for mine right now, and I'll show you exactly why, wherever it is. Yeah, it's right there. It does work for mine, and I'll show you why. and I'll show you how it wouldn't work in a second. So if it's showing this and it's not gonna detect it properly, you do need to go configure now. Make sure you have it right there. Click next step. Go in here. For your router brand, you're just going to put where your router is. So I'll put Google Fiber. And then for the software device, you're just going to put Minecraft. And it should pop up a little thing for all these options. You'll click Minecraft server and you'll go to next step. And port forwarding, if you should click, is this computer always running on your network? Click yes. And then it will have you download this. This is important to download, and I'll show you why in just a second. I do already have it downloaded, and it will pop up down here. It's this little green for the no IP. You open that, which I do need to click show, and then it shows all this information. You'll go into the edit hosts right here, click that, and as you can see, it shows these right here. This shows your existing host. You do need to check these to make sure they're on. You just click save, and it should be working now. It may work without it. It may work with it. Your domain may already work without doing this step, but sometimes it won't allow you unless you go in and check that box. Now, if I uncheck it, it may still work, but if it doesn't, that will show why. But as you can see, it is still working. So you do want to just make sure that this box in edit host is checked. That is why you do need to download that little thing. You can uncheck them, but these are the selected hosts to help show that your IP address should be recognized by these hosts. If you don't have them checked, then it may be not possible to connect to your server. So all you got to do is that little step. You just go back in here, and then you should be able to connect to your world based off of that little domain. And if everything worked correctly, you should be in the same little server world you had before. And as you can see, in the same server world, I had joined the game. So with all that said, now we finally have learned how to properly set up a server completely. You do not have to do this. You don't have to have a domain for your server. You don't have to port forward your server. It all depends on what you're trying to do with your server. Like I said in the first video, you only need really it to be locally hosted if you only want to play at your house with your friends or whatever when they're over. Otherwise, you don't really need to have it locally hosted. You'll need to put it ported forward, and you'll need to do a lot of things. So there's 3 situations where you would run a server differently. And we covered those in those past 3 videos. We covered the initial locally hosting where you only want it at your house, which is completely fine. And then we covered in the second video porting it forward and giving your friends that IPv4 address. That's also completely fine as well. But this video right here is to explain how you can keep your IPv4 address secure while allowing anybody you want to on your server. So with that said, I'm IdaKiller, and I hope that this little mini series helped you set up a server and helped you enjoy Minecraft way more than you already enjoy it right now. So I'm IdaKiller, and I'll see y'all in the next video.